Hi, my name's Tim. I've been with the Game Changers for about 5 weeks now. I come from a mining background. I spent 20 years as a diesel fitter in the mines, and for the last 10 years I've been wanting to get out of mining and really take control of my finances and get back into the space that I wanted to be and not have to worry about my finances and work for somebody else. I really wanted to start making decisions and making moves on my own merits. So the Game Changers came across my desk. I've been running this business on the side on my days off for about 12 months and built it from scratch, learning things as I went, picking things up as I needed to, and really figuring it out as I went. So I was well aware that I didn't know everything, but just jumped in and knew that I needed a way out of the mining game and decided that business was a way for me to do that, and that had allowed me to get back into property development, which is my passion. So I've been really struggling with it and working really hard to make some momentum and get things rolling. I've taken it about as far as I can do by myself with the knowledge that I have, and I've been put in a position where I took a redundancy from the mines and decided to go into the business, insert myself into the business full time and take it to the next level. Pretty much at the same time, maybe 2 or 3 weeks prior to that, I was exposed to the Game Changers for the first time. Went through the process of identifying what they could bring to my game and what benefits they could give me. Pretty much ticked all the boxes for what I needed to achieve and where I needed to go. So upon talking to Barry and the team, I decided to go for it, and then got some cold feet because it was a bit of a commitment, and I had a lot of fear going on about stepping away from the paycheck and that big blanket, that big security blanket that I'd had for 20 years of a fairly hefty paycheck coming in every week in, week out. So I stepped back and some fears took over, and through conversations with the guys I made the decision, okay, I'm going to do this. To hell with the consequences, to hell with the money, just get in, get it done, and let's go for it. I've only got one chance to do this properly, otherwise I'll end up back at the mines doing FIFO, not having enough time with my kids and being really unhappy with where I am. So I've jumped in. I've been, as I said, with the program for about 5 weeks now, and I've learnt more in the last 5 weeks than I have in the whole 18 months leading up to that. So it's just been phenomenal. Everything they're bringing and putting in front of me is actually fitting the gaps that I had, and I've had so many epiphany moments. It's been really phenomenal, and I'm really starting to charge ahead, and all the big ideas that were unattainable prior are actually starting to fit into place, and I've actually got the tools now that I can automate my business. I can set my business up to scale, which will take me to exactly where I want to be, and then I can automate it and then set it up and do something else. And it's going to give me the tools to set one business up, put it under management, and then set up another one. And geez, I want to be Richard Branson. So, and this is going to give me the tools to do that. I've always been the big dreamer. I've always been the guy looking for his millions. People who haven't seen me for 20 years ask me, have you made your millions yet? And usually I say, yeah, I've made my millions, and then I gave most of it back. Through ambitious, harebrained schemes and plans, but all those failures have brought me to where I am now and have allowed me to make that decision that I needed to learn more, and I needed to do it right, and I needed to get the fundamentals right, and I needed to know everything, not just bits and pieces, and move forward. So the Game Changers have really provided that for me, that really stable foundation. The Opulence workshop, we're in day 2 now, and I've gotten a massive amount out of it. I feel like a dry sponge who's just absorbing all of this information. I spend most of the time writing down furiously all these ideas and fitting all these things into where I had gaps and ideas, that little what if ideas and big $1 million ideas are just starting to pop up, and they're all coming to fruition. So it's been phenomenal, and the name Game Changers pretty much explains it all. So if you're thinking that it might not be for you, or you're not in a financial position, or you're not in the right headspace to do it, just jump in and just go for it. One of the experiences that I had on my first coaching session was with Michael McNish. Didn't really know what to expect, and I was a little bit hesitant, thinking that didn't really give it the weight that it deserved. So I went in a little bit half-cocked and thought, we'll see what comes of this. So we started exploring things, and Michael just sort of put the idea in my head, okay, well let's start to look for ways we can get leads and the things we could do. He didn't even say that I should start looking for through my cold leads or anything like that. 2 days after the training session, I sat down with my works manager and we went, rightio, let's go through all of the leads we've had to date, because I needed to quantify our conversion rate anyway. It was one of the metrics that I hadn't even thought about measuring. And while we were sitting there drinking coffee, I thought, well, bugger it, I'll start calling these people that we've lost, and we'll see where they're at. It's something that I'd done as a real estate agent before and had pretty good results, but never really thought about transitioning to get into the business. So after about, I think it was about 10 phone calls, spanning 20 minutes, talking to people that had decided not to go with us or had engaged other contractors, we actually picked up 2 jobs that had been given to other contractors, and people didn't get the level of service that they'd expected from someone who had quoted less. So they were we gained a lot of credibility by giving them a phone call just to see how they're going with their project. To the degree that across those 2 jobs we picked up roughly $32,000 in works. One of them is actually our biggest job to date, which is pretty cool. And those people were so stoked that we called them and had showed the integrity, even though they told us that they didn't want to work with us, that we called them back and asked them how they're going, that they made decisions very quickly, pretty much there on the spot. And yeah, it just created money out there and paid for the course pretty much in 10 minutes and half a dozen phone calls, which was so simple. It's laughable, and it's been a real turning point for our business, and just that different perspective really helped. So if you're thinking about taking it on board, or whether or not you're in the right space to jump in, I'd just go for it. Just jump in, and then it'll give you so many tools. You'll get so much benefit out of it. But just be ready to take it to the next level, because the Game Changers will change your game without a doubt.